So I have several illustrations here to try to help drive home the point that we can't get confused on this sort of a transaction, because of what we've done so far with debt is we've made the assumption or looked at it from the debtor side, and that is that we owe the money to someone, we're borrowing the money from someone. And the way we account for the debt if we are the debtor is way different than if we are on the other side of the transaction and we're the investor. So remember that when we invest in the debt, it's going to look significantly different than how we accounted for the debt if we were the debtor. But remember, the fundamentals are the same, right? We're just flipping the side of the transaction that we're on. The debtor is making an obligation, a payment, or promise to pay to us in the future at specified payment dates, which are listed here on this little timeline. Every 6 months, every one of these tick marks, they're going to pay us an interest payment for this bond, and then they're going to repay the entire principal amount or the face value upon the maturity date. So we're the recipient of the payments when they're paying the cash interest and when they're repaying upon maturity. But up front, what's happening is we, the investor, the Bluegrass Company, are giving the debtor cash, right? And they're now strapped to their back. They're going to owe us all these obligations in the future. And in exchange, they're signing an obligation, making a promise to us. Okay, so now with that in mind, what's going to happen on the date of when we purchase the date, which is 12/31 of 2015, we are going to record an asset on our books called a debt investment. And the value that we put into that debt investment is the entire proceeds we had to pay to purchase the debt. $102,458.71. $102,458.71. That's the value that goes into the debt investment, and in exchange we credit cash for the same amount, and that's that's our entry. Now just look at that for a second. This is way different than how the debtor would have accounted for that. So just to contrast this, I'm going to show you what the debtor does on this same date when they are issuing the debt. What they would do is they're receiving the cash, they're receiving the same amount we're paying them, but in exchange they've got a bond payable, and they record this at the face value. The face value up here says $100,000. So there's also a premium on the bond, and this is what you've been used to up to this point when we've been issuing debt, and the premium amount is the proceeds in excess of the face value, $2458.74. So that's what the debtor would do. Oops, keep hitting that page down button. So look at how different that is, right? We are the investor. There's no premium. We just record the investment at its historical cost, which is the value we have to pay for that debt up front. So that's how you record the initial purchase of the debt on January 1st. So I even have the wrong date here, don't I? January 1st of 2015, that's when we buy the debt. And we are the debtor. We're not the debtor, we're the investor. So this first transaction is the correct answer.